Hey, everybody. So I want to really briefly address why I think this next flow challenge that we do is not going to be a redundant um, month as we had in the past. And it has a lot to do with a model called the ladder of inference. And the ladder of inference suggests that at a specific rung on the ladder, we are meeting reality for what it really is. We are alert and calm. We have an understanding of who we are and what the facts are around us. We're using our senses. We're in control of our nervous system. It doesn't mean that everything around us is great, as we know that's not true, but it means that we're approaching our reality wide-eyed, opened. And what I saw over the last couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks, was as a collective, in a sense, as a planet, we started to kind of walk our way up the ladder. We started to make plans. We started to assume certain things were going to occur. And when that happened, I immediately became uneasy. I was uneasy not because I'm pessimistic, but because it didn't seem to match the reality of what was currently happening. A lot of assumptions were being thrown out there. A lot of people who are tired of the idea of shelter in place, for example, tired of the idea of, um, this pause, and even more than that, stressed and anxious and uh, at wit's end because of the mental toll that isolation takes, that the mental toll that these existential threats take, the constant stewing within our own issues and traumas and pre-programmed things that are going on below the surface of our consciousness. These things make us start to walk up the ladder and make assumptions. And I think we're seeing now on July 1st here that some of those assumptions are already starting to splinter. And so, as a whole, on a meta level, if we're going to be able to engage in this moment, in this time, and collectively make some advancements and really solve what has been called, the wicked problems of our time. We're in it right now. If we're going to do that, we need to climb back down the ladder. One of the best ways to climb back down the ladder is to practice gratitude, focus on some of the essential elements in positive psychology, like mini wins, for example. It's to build community. It's to embrace and establish culture that is built to help one another, to support one another, to challenge one another, and not to victimize, rescue, or persecute one another. So this next flow challenge, to me, takes on an even greater meaning than the last one in a lot of ways, especially within this community, because we've all played the game. We all had an incredible time playing the game. And it felt a little bit, as it ended, sad to me, but it also kind of felt like, okay, that was fun. What's next? Well, what's next is something similar to what we did, although, as we know, there's never been a moment like now. There'll never be another month the way it happened in the past. Our events that surround each and every one of us are going to influence and impact how we show up. As you might remember, creating a to-be list is a pretty important part of being able to stay connected to the present moment in a realistic way. So, what have we done differently outside of those things? Well, On the front end, Scott and I and our team are going to be giving you a more robust um, workshop type look at some of the skills that we ask you to participate in every day. We're going to do a more robust look at breath, at movement, at deep connection, which includes active listening, some of the skills within deep connection and group flow, so that you have maybe a more refined set of tools going into the 30-day challenge. We're also going to do a more robust front-loaded look at flow. And specifically, as you might recall last month, we really honed in on struggling more effectively, recovering more efficiently. We still love those parts of the cycle, but we're going to look a little bit more at the triggers and the blockers this month. And I'll just cite one of them right now. One being a trigger that's very effective is the challenge skills ratio. It's our ability to meet the challenge when it's just a little bit outside of our reach. If it's too high, it's anxiety. If it's too low, boredom. So we want to try to go into the flow channel, which is that perfect sweet spot of pushing ourselves just enough to be able to drive our focus and our attention into the present moment, where we know that flow will follow. So that is one example of our commitment to take a deeper dive into some of the science and the practice, the application of flow. And so we want to equip you with those things up front. And then during the challenge, we've taken a real close look at the coach's corner, the 3 days a week that you are reading text from Scott or myself. And we've refined that. And we've done so in a way that makes it potentially a little bit more actionable, a little bit more easy to ingest and to digest. We'll have kind of the key point and the action step surrounding our message for those days, which will give you a much more specific focus on how to insert that into your life. So those will be tweaked and shifted to some degree. And then also we've gone through the quotes, we've updated quotes so that on a day-to-day basis, what it is that you're seeing potentially a little bit more relevant to what our moment has provided for us. And then it's, to me, probably one of the more impactful experiences of the month was the Friday Zoom calls. And so we had incredible guests. We had robust conversations. And those of you who watched the recordings will know that. Those of you who were there live obviously will know that. But this month, I think it's really important for us to not just talk about what our experts know, but to have our experts lead so that we are using practical application. So for example, if we have Dr. Michael Menino on as a neuroscientist talking about interoception, we would like him to lead some movement practices that highlight how using our bodies can influence our brain, for example. So roll up your sleeves, because this will be a bit more robust. It will be a bit more of an application. But other than that, it's going to be very much like we saw last month. And what we saw last month was incredible engagement. We were blown away, frankly, by each individual's ability to train their attention towards those mini wins, to articulate those mini wins within the setting of our mini wins scroll. And to me, at the end of the day, we're really cultivating an optimistic mindset that's really rooted in the hope that something good something good is about to happen. And I know that right now that feels like potentially like a difficult thing to consider, optimism. But we need to walk back down the ladder. And the best way to do that is to see where we are right now. And so I'll leave you with this quick question. And it's a question that I'm asking myself a lot when my mind races and I sort of spin out of control and I feel the rush of adrenaline through my body and the cortisol and the stress, and my nervous system is activated. I put my hand on my chest and I say to myself, am I okay right now? And I ask myself to look around, to listen, to feel, without judging too intently, too closely, without gripping the old storyline, without trying to corroborate a doomsday case. And when I ask myself that question in the present moment, most of the time, the answer is yes. From there, I'm back down the ladder and I'm able to navigate the next best step. And if you'll recall, that's what this is about. Flow, yes, is our birthright. But we're not talking about new normal. We're talking about new optimal. Optimal means we take whatever the world has given us in this moment and we see it for what it is, alert and calm. We do our best to have the discipline and the composure to meet that moment down the ladder, making a decision in real time, in the present moment, that feels right, that we intuit as the right decision, right move. Our nervous systems are talking to one another. My nervous system is talking to you right now. And what I wanted to say is, let's everybody climb down the ladder. Let's take a clear-eyed look at what's going on, and let's figure out what the next best step is. And I can't think of a better next best step right now than all of us recommitting, rejoining our community, and experiencing this next month again together. So the challenge starts on July 13th. We'll do an onboarding again on that Friday, the 11th beforehand. And we'll, again, have a bunch of new Friday guests, and some of our Friday guests will be the same. I'm going to leave some of the details about how to sign up and the codes and the percentages off and all of that for you to look at in this email. But I'll just leave you with a quick 30-second body scan. I'd like you to get back in your body, kind of get out of your thoughts, shift from listening to me to feeling what you're feeling inside of your body. Start at the top of your head. Go ahead and just close your eyes and just without judgment, just start to notice what sorts of sensations do you feel in your forehead, moving down your face, into your neck. Feel your shoulders. If you feel a little tension there, go ahead and just release. Any sensations down your arms, just noticing, you're just bringing awareness through your chest, down into your belly, your lower back, and into your hips, down your thighs, hamstrings, through your knees, your shins and your calves, down into your ankles, through your feet, into your toes. And then just quickly just scan back all the way up find a little tension, go ahead and release it. And come back up to your jaw. I want you just to notice the state of tension in your jaw. And if you feel that tension in there, just go ahead and slightly open your mouth and release it. Release that tension around your brow. And let's all take 1, 5, 5 breath together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. So go ahead and open your eyes, open your heart, open your intuition, and know that this next flow challenge, even though the model will be the same, there'll be a lot of different elements involved, and we'll all be a little different. We've all played the game on one level, and I encourage you to sign up again. I encourage you to play as hard and open, vulnerable as you did last time. I know here, Scott, Joseph, and myself, we would love to have that kind of commitment and community show up again. So thank you so much for listening. Stay safe. Make sure that you can climb back down that ladder. Stay in your moment. Stay in your body. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Take care.